Good evening, everyone. Good evening, esteemed guests. So, first of all, I'll like to start with an opening question for every one of you. I would like to know your 2 cents, 30 seconds each. So, Mr. Rajeev, we'll start with you. India is becoming one of the world's biggest manufacturing hubs for consumer durables. What's the biggest opportunity that still remains untapped?
I think in the overall ecosystem, one thing is completely missing, which is the display fab manufacturing. Because of that, because display is now an integral part of almost all the devices. And not having a display fab in India, that means a good part of every product still has to be imported into India. And that's the one big thing which is yet to happen, in my opinion.
Right. Sanjay, you would like to add?
Yep.
Yes.
I think manufacturing has really taken a big leap in India. Probably the next thing should be the innovation. That will put India on the global stage, because we should not be only making, but we should be leading the world in innovation with all the technology which is available with Indian engineers, and we have some of the top engineers globally leading the tech companies. So all that should come into manufacturing also.
Yes. Mayank?
No, I come from a recycling space, and what I've seen is that brands are now embracing circularity, and I don't say it in terms of a fancy word, but because someone, and I represent Selsmart, we build a platform to go directly to consumers to pick up products. So brands are not able to perhaps talk directly to a consumer. It goes through a retailer, it goes through e-commerce. So they have understood if there is a business model where you can build exchanges, you can build take back by providing an attractive value, which is their value and that of a recycler, and you can go to a home and pick it up. The customer is embracing it and brands are embracing it. So I have seen in the past 1 year, perhaps 10 odd brands have partnered with us, and they have demonstrated that if you have an interesting circularity or a take-back business model, which not only is great for the environment and national interest, but is also a sales enabler, it can be turbocharged. And I've not seen that anywhere globally. And I think that's a very important testament to the ecosystem, and I would also say the vision of many brands.
Right, Swati.
Hi. Thank you. I think so the biggest opportunity currently in India is not make in India, but design in India, design for India, and design for the world. So India is a very unique country, and it kind of represents the global south. So our environmental requirements, our population requirements, this mere size of any consumer base in this country is way different from many of the advanced economies. So India has to move from assembling to designing, writing the code for the software, which is running each and every appliance which got an award today, and as well as ensuring they are tested for India and for the world. So that's my 2 cents.
All right, Swati, so I'll be continuing with you itself. So consumers expect global quality regardless of where a product is manufactured. How do companies maintain consistency while scaling production?
That's a fantastic question. And you know what? You've asked this in an opportune time. In India, quality is maintained by multiple agencies, but the biggest agency we know of is BIS, right? I represent an industry which makes surveillance cameras. BIS with the nodal ministry, which is Ministry of Electronics and IT, has ensured not only do the brands manufacture in India, they manufacture as per the technical norms and the cyber-secure requirements which are necessary for such a sensitive product. So much so that Indian companies have definitely benefited for that. And the proof of the pudding is in the eating. almost 50% of the market share, more than 50% of the market share is now with the Indian companies in surveillance cameras. But whilst having said that, even global brands have started manufacturing in India and writing the code in India to ensure that they get certified. So I think quality is determined by what you can deliver with standards and by following the regulations, and consumers follow and consumers buy. I mean, there is no doubt about that.
Right, nicely said. With that, I'd like to move to Rajeev. Rajeev, you recently did a podcast with us where you also shared the BenQ India vision. So I would want to know, localization doesn't always mean making every component in India. How does your organization decide what should be local and what should remain part of a global supply chain?
Okay. So first of all, we don't believe that, when you do make in India, you should make each and every part in India. Right. You should really leverage on the things which are good in India. However, much more important than that is when you have a product which is designed for India. And that is an integral part of our manufacturing process.
Right.
That we actually focus a lot on Indian consumers, and we have certain product categories which are completely, they have come into being because of the consumer research in India. They were launched first in India and then globally, and they have been a big hit.
All right, Sanjay. So global supply chains have become less predictable over the last few years. How has that changed sourcing and manufacturing strategies for you guys?
Yeah, it has been a nightmare actually for the last couple of months. In fact, post-COVID, things have really taken a big hit. We've all gone through, whosoever has been into manufacturing or import, because personally, we represent commercial refrigeration, where the biggest component, that is compressor, is still imported. And we have been facing this challenge, so it's a big challenge. But now we are also looking at not leveraging that, okay, you have to bring it from China or Turkey or other European country, but start developing other things which can be done in India. So the reliance which was there earlier has started reducing. And also, as ma'am was suggesting, thanks to BIS enforcing certain things, we have started looking more inward and developing the ecosystem, which in our industry per se was little less. And we were still relying more on imports, and so that has really impacted, and it continues to hurt us. But maybe in next 2-3 years, India will be self-reliant, particularly on compressor side, which is a bigger challenge for us.
Definitely, definitely. Mayank, manufacturing conversations usually end at production, but products eventually become e-waste. How should sustainability become part of the manufacturing conversation?
See, there are two things. One, we were just talking about disruptions in global supply chain. If you see the innovation that is happening in the space of recycling, even companies like us are able to extract 27 metals at 99.9% purity, which means that they can be reused in original manufacturing. I think the second thing which is very important is that consumer behavior has been modified or changed in terms of instant gratification, quick convenience. And we've seen that even in our own journey, places in South India, many cities, places in Kerala, it's very counterintuitive. When we reduce our prices a bit of what we are purchasing, it actually sometimes the sales have gone up or orders have gone up. And what we've noticed is that consumers are looking for convenience. They are looking for someone to plug the whole ecosystem of not only buying, but quickly someone coming and pick up. And I think brands who are partnering with that, who are building this into their ecosystem, are getting perhaps some edge in a hyper-competitive market. So it's a very interesting ecosystem, and the business models that are quickly evolving. Once you can align with them, brands innovate. And I think that's one part of the whole manufacturing and selling process.
Okay. The next question I would like to address to both Rajeev and Swati. Maybe Swati can take this first. So, global supply chains have become less predictable over the last few years. How has that changed sourcing and the manufacturing strategies?
So, global supply chains went through multiple upheavals, right, from COVID, as Sanjay mentioned. So, there was this semiconductor, supply chain crisis. Then there was critical mineral crisis, and now we are dealing with the memory crisis, along with SOC, of course. And the memory crisis is such that it is affecting each and every appliance in the consumer segment, right? So the only way you can deal with this is diversification of your supply chain. Ensure that you can mitigate your losses, cut your losses by going and shopping in other, geographies. While you're doing that, one of the interesting things Indian companies miss out is that if you bring in the design from outside, you will bring in suppliers which are set in stone in that design. If you design here, and that goes for every manufacturer, you define who should be your supplier. Once you start designing in-house, you design with the supplier. And that needs to change. And I think at CP Plus, we are doing a fantastic job of that. And I hope all of us can.
I think I would really second her, because in this kind of uncertain environment, like being a company which is primarily into electronics and IT hardware products, we don't have any other choice but to depend on the eastern part of the world to get sourcing our products. So one thing which is there is that, of course, looking at this, we have changed our stocking policy and also our forecasting, because both of that have really helped us to really mitigate the kind of risks which are there, which are very, very uncertain. You just cannot predict it, what is going to hit you next. Not only the supply situation, but also the price fluctuation is also, for so many critical components, is so wide. So that being the case, the kind of local manufacturing that we are doing and some local sourcing is helping us, but we know for sure that for critical components which are there, which are actually causing these kind of issues, for them there is no supply chain in India. So stocking and forecasting for a longer term is the thing that we are doing. It is really helping us.
Perfect. So, Sanjay, has India reached the point where companies evaluate it for innovation and not just manufacturing?
In certain categories, yes. Overall, it is still a long way. I think that's a process for any economy to develop. The first thing which you start doing, as ma'am said, you start assembling. That is the first step. Then you start trying and do some localization and move into a complete manufacturing. We have done the same. And then you start innovating, designing. And so I think our appliances particularly definitely have started becoming much better than what they were earlier. Mobile technology, though we may still be dependent on Apple and Samsung, but yes. We have done something over there. In my line, particularly commercial refrigeration, we are doing a lot of backward engineering still, because the globe is much, much ahead of us, be it in refrigerant or compressor and other things. So India is still, in my wisdom, in my views, we are still at least 10 years away from being real innovators and designers overall in the appliances segment.
Nicely said, sir. Mayank, I would like to address the last question to you. Should recycling and component recovery become part of India's manufacturing strategy rather than being treated as a separate industry?
See, as was mentioned, supply chain disruptions, shortage of critical material, I think is a challenge. And what's going to happen, especially with EV batteries, with the industry, with e-waste, that once that ecosystem develops, which is developing very quickly, you have feedstock which is already there. The appliances or the semiconductors and the batteries are in. And when you start recycling it, you're providing that raw material back to manufacturers. So obviously, if that link is there, that the processes you have is mirrored to what a manufacturer needs, then those materials become valuable. And I can see that that is happening. Even the government is pushing for it. It just, perhaps the ecosystem was too small. I can see it's becoming much larger. And then obviously there will be collaboration and innovation will flow through it.
Perfect. I still think that we have a couple of minutes left. So any closing remark on Digit India's Top Appliance Awards this year? I think we can start with you, Sanjay. Quickly.
I think it's a very wonderful initiative because it motivates us to perform better. Also, it gives us an opportunity to talk about the new innovations which are happening and what next. So I think it's an incredible initiative. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you. Sir.
So first of all, my association with Digit goes right up to almost 25 years back, because first I was an avid reader for Digit, and because at that point of time this was the only magazine which because I am really interested in high tech always, so it used to give me all the right information at that point of time. After that, I have seen in different companies that I worked for, especially in BenQ, that the Digit has been testing our products into different categories, and we have seen that amongst all this kind of exercise happening anywhere else, Digit is completely, totally different. They do very rigorous testing, and their reviews are really insightful for the customer. And I'm so happy that now this thing has been extended to the appliances segment.
Thank you so much, Mayank.
I'll take the consumer hat. For me, this is a very interesting format, because I feel there is a lot of clutter, there is a lot of confusion as a consumer what to purchase. But the parameters that you are putting in are, I think, in line with what consumer needs would be. And I'm pretty sure the digital traction that you will get will give brilliant insights on consumer behavior. So it's a very, very interesting thing. It's happened globally in a few places. So I'm glad we've picked it up here.
Thank you. Swati.
So, yes, it is a fantastic endeavor. And you know what's encouraging? Again, I have been reading Digit from the earliest days. That's how long I've been working. So it has always been a part of my work life. So what you have been doing through the magazine all this time, rating products, finding different rubrics to rate the products, has culminated into an award. What else? I mean, that is the ultimate high a product company can get, to get an award from a Digit. So I think very good. Congratulations, and keep up the good work.
Yes, thank you so much. I think so we have just finished on time. My folks are here, Krishika and Yash. Thank you, people. This has been an insightful conversation.